So continuing how to run your salon business, this goes into leadership. Now, if you have a terrible leader, you're going to have a problem. Or if you're a terrible leader, you're going to have a problem. I remember working in a salon once, and this salon was dictated by the salon owner, the atmosphere in the salon. And he could come in up here really happy, really jovial, really excited, want to get everybody fired up. Or he could come in really down here, make everybody feel almost depressed. His leadership qualities were absolutely shocking. So you have to ask yourself, am I training myself to become a great leader? Because your leadership will make a difference to the way your salon is run on a daily basis. If you're not running leadership from the front and pushing leadership from the back, which means you're at the front saying, we're going this way, and you're at the back pushing them forward also, you're going to have a problem. So you have to set your leadership by example. Now, you may be a salon owner who isn't on the shop floor, and that's fine because you're not a hairdresser. But that leadership example is one of the things that will make a big difference in your business. I know when I had my own hairdressing salons, I used to go into that salon every single day. And some days I couldn't do it because I was too tired or whatever. Or too busy as well, to be honest. Some days you would go into that salon and you had to fire the staff up. You had to say to them, this is a day when we can make the money up. This is a day when we can increase the colour. This is a day when we're going to do this. And you have to micromanage. You have to micromanage those units also. You have to take John and you have to take Susan. You have to do that one-on-one thing. This is leadership. If you're not willing to lead your salon will lead itself. If you're not willing to lead your salon, someone in that salon will take the lead and it'll be the most obnoxious character in your salon. So you have to have these written principles, these written contracts, these written ideas of how you're going to run your salon. Because if you don't have it written down, you've already failed in your leadership quality. You've already failed to lead your personality, your character, your salon, which is the head of the whole character within your business. And of course, your people will just then do their own things. And if you have a bunch of staff who are doing their own thing, you're going to be in a huge amount of problems. You're going to have a huge amount of trouble. You're not going to be able to discipline them. You're not going to be able to control them. You're not going to be able to do anything with them. So how do we get around this when it comes to running our hairdressing salon? Hairdressing salons are all about great management. Now, if you look at the corporate industries, which I've also consulted and worked with over the years, they have a very fixed structure, which means that when they interview somebody, they say to them, I'm expecting you to do this in the first month. I'm expecting you to deliver this, and it's all written down. I'm expecting you to get these numbers. And they will say to their new employees, they'll say, do you agree with this? And they will say, yes. And then they will sign a contract. Salon owners don't like doing this, but it's critical if you want to run a brilliant business. It's critical that you do this right at the start so that they know where they stand. So you have to have these written rules, these written contracts to be able to run an amazing business. If you don't have these written things down, your salon will be extremely hard work, extreme uphill struggle, where you will be chasing staff, replacing staff, hiring staff, firing staff, day in, day out. Now, a few other little tips about hiring staff. Remember, staff are not your friends, are not your buddies. They are people that you pay a wage for in exchange for delivering certain results. When you become too friendly with staff, the barrier is then removed, and once that barrier is removed, they won't deliver. And in fact, sometimes when you ask them to deliver, they may even start joking back or saying things back to you that you do not want to hear. And this is because you don't have a written contract. Be careful of hiring friends Be careful of hiring families. Be careful of hiring clients' children. Because I tell you, I've made those mistakes, and I've seen salons make those mistakes. And you'll end up firing them. Something will end up coming down at some point. So to run that salon successfully, you need to have these things in place. And why? Because you are in a business to make money. And if the salon isn't making money, you don't have a business. You have a major problem. Let me give you one example. I once went to a salon where they were paying their manager £500 a week. And £500 a week for a manager is not bad. But the problem was, this girl had gone into the salon with no rules, no regulations, no contract, no list of what she should do, no agreement, no goals, no targets, no strategy or anything. The salon owner had said to her, "Have you managed the salon before?" She replied, "Yes." So she got the job. The problem was they were paying the girl £500 a week, but she was turning over, wait for it, £650 a week. Now, every member of staff has a cost to you. When you can let them have tea or coffee in the salon, you're paying for it. When they switch something on, you're paying for it. When they use a tint, you are paying for it. When they turn on the tap or even flush the toilet, you are paying for it. Everything has a cost. So she was getting paid £500, and that was covering no costs whatsoever. Yet the salon owner, when we very first met, asked, they said, "We've got a really great manager, she's doing amazing, but we are losing money every single week." Well, there you go. So one little principle that I've always worked on, and I still work on with every salon, is if you're paying a stylist £500 a week, they should be taking 3 times that money to cover their own costs. And that's £1,500. So you would put £1,500 in her contract, her targets, her goals. You would work out a strategy, some tactics. How are you going to do this? How are you going to market this stylist? How is she going to market herself? You would break all the average bills down. You'd break the colours down. You would break down the volume of clients every single week. And then I would break them down every single day. And then I would break them down by morning, AM, and then by PM to make it more reachable and more doable for the stylist. And if you don't have those things in place, you are absolutely done for. Your salon won't survive. So going back to the original question, how do you run a hairdressing salon? Just remember, a salon business is run on people, but a business is run on turnover and profits and loss. So although you have people, you have to have a system in place for hiring and firing people. If you don't have a system in place for hiring and firing people, and you don't take into account the type of people, for instance, Generation Z right now, you'll find it very difficult to hire the right kind of people, and you'll be going through this hire, fire process endlessly. And second, you have to take into account that you are in business to make a profit. You've opened a salon to make a profit. You're paying rent to make a profit. You're paying rates to make a profit. You've got all those costs, but you still want a profit. You want a nice car at home. You want to be able to go on holiday. You want to do all those nice things, but you won't be able to do that if the salon isn't making a profit. So the very, very basic principles of how to run a hairdressing salon is find the right people and know exactly how your money is working in that business. This is Alan, salonpunk.com. And of course, if you've not subscribed already, make sure you subscribe below. And of course, leave a comment or ask a question, and one of us here will answer that for you. Until the next video,